This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You could stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you could spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. That's eating good in the neighborhood.
Talk about stepping up! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
State Fair. Very happy to welcome into the equation one of our very favorites, covers the Minnesota Vikings for The Athletic and theathletic.com, also as a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get a witness and a raucous round of applause for Mr. Alec Lewis from The Athletic? What up there, Lou?
How are you, PA?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.
See you.
It's tough to follow that, obviously. Brutal news locally.
And I was just catching up on social media and just to see if we heard the press conference and see if there were any other nuggets or anything. And I saw your tweet, where I can't. You said this awful, shouldn't happen.
Just brutal, yeah.
Right? It's just
every time I see
very
one of
sad.
These, local, it hits you even more. But yeah, it just it's gutting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking to Nordo. I'm not married with kids, but just cannot fathom the emotions of that. But anyway, happy to be here.
Yep.
It's beautiful. I haven't seen Adam Thielen out here yet.
Right.
Kind of wondering.
Oh, he'll be here. Not today, but
yeah, absolutely.
You talk about.
My head was on a swivel. I'm telling you. I'm like, hey,
through Minnesotan.
He and Blake Barrett's are doing a skip to my Lou out here next to the corn on the cob. But no, good to be here.
Okay, well, off that point, and again, if you just came to the State Fair and you haven't followed, say, social media, listened to 9 to Noon, or followed the news outside of the reality of the obvious tragedy that just was discussed on 9 to Noon via the press conference, the Minnesota Vikings a couple of hours ago traded for Adam Thielen, and they did so with the Carolina Panthers. So Adam Thielen is coming back to the Minnesota Vikings. And assumedly will be completely ready to go for the season opener a week from Monday at Soldier Field against the Chicago Bears. Now, Alec, and the podcast, by the way, is the Alec Lewis Show.
Creative name.
At Alec_Lewis, if you need more information on that. It has its own X feed is it at Alec Lewis Show?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or go to YouTube and in the search bar, Alec Lewis Show.
In the iHeartRadio app?
Yep, iHeartRadio app too. Alec and I chopped it up yesterday for about 45 minutes regarding the Vikings 53. We talked a little bit about the potential of Adam Thielen coming here and their need at wide receiver depth. So that's taken place. But I want to start with you with something we've been discussing in common thread fashion pretty much the entire show, and it's the behind the scenes stuff with people who wanted to come here. So in other words, Adam Schefter, we both respect him greatly. When he starts going with this, or Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, it was per source, this is being bandied about. Then what's the next layer? There was a non-essential clause, or there was something added in a Schefter tweet within the last week.
It was an essential clause.
It was essential, as it turns out to be, where it's like, and this would make Thielen happy. And then Caitlin, his wife, went to social media within the last couple of days, and it wasn't a full-out prayer, but it was like, this would be so great, and we would be so happy to be back by friends that we've had here for years, be great for our kids and family members and stuff like that. So during all that, it's in knowing the work ethic and the way Adam Thielen was raised. The Panthers, if this didn't happen, they were going to get 10 of 10 from Adam Thielen. That's the only way he knows, or he would not still be in the National Football League.
He was at practice yesterday.
Right. So this, during all of that, if you're a player, coach, or personnel person, and they see everything. They know this is happening, and wife has tweeted or gone to Instagram or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Well, that had to be a weird situation there for them. And good morning.
Good morning. The hair looks phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you. So
for
do the glasses.
hair in person,
Thank you.
It's everything the people out here probably would want.
It caused your glasses to fog, and I don't know why.
You got people out here clapping.
Well, the lack of humidity is playing into this too. It's terrific. Still,
Is that your husband? Well, his hair's fantastic. Give him a round of applause, okay?
It's well coiffed. It's like Josh McCown level up there. Look, what I would say is this. Yeah, it was an interesting situation going back to maybe Friday of last week. So what are we, Tuesday? And it's been an everyday, on the phone, nonstop, texting anybody and everybody, executives, personnel, agents, the whole deal. And I would say, as much as Adam Thielen, it was pretty clear that he wanted to be here, and as much as the Vikings, it was pretty clear that they wanted him here. The Carolina Panthers did not have to, they were not motivated to do that unless it behooved them. And that's why you end up looking at the value that the Vikings sent to Carolina for this trade.
I didn't think it was that much.
Look.
I thought they were holding him over the fire for like a third.
It was probably the equivalent of a fourth.
Okay.
And so I would say.
Was it salary based, you think?
No, I think it was all draft capital. Look, the Panthers.
You hold on to a couple of million and we'll take them. Would that have impacted picks maybe?
It could have potentially, but I just think Carolina from the get-go is like, we do not just want to take a 6th or 7th round pick for this guy. And I understand the devil's advocate would be, well, it's a 35-year-old receiver. So the right compensation for that is probably a 5th round pick. But the Vikings were in a position where they didn't have a ton of leverage. Like, if it wasn't Adam Thielen, there were not just a ton of very high level productive players out there who could step into this very complex system and make it work. So it ended up being probably a comp somewhere around what would be like a 4th round pick, and that might sound like a lot, but Adam Thielen was really freaking good last year.
Yeah.
He missed 7 games because of a hamstring injury, but he was very productive. I gave these numbers when I hosted this show. I think it was last Friday. Like, his average separation was as high last year as it had been since like 2021. His yards per catch last year was as high as it's been since 2021. I'm not
12-8.
I'm not predicting that he's going to be out here, catch 80 passes or what have you, but to have the insurance for the first 3 weeks, and then to also have insurance with a reliable player over the course of the season when a receiver might get hurt, it was sensible. It was the right move. And glad it's over, that I can, eat donuts without checking my phone.
One thing, part of the receiver conversation, and I think you guys covered this on the Alec Lewis show when you were talking yesterday, is just what's going on with Jalen Naylor. And they've done a pretty good job from the standpoint of, no leaks, no information one way or the other. I'm just kind of curious, is this a week-to-week thing? Is this hand, or, is there surgery in the dead of night taking place? Just what's up with Jalen? Because Thielen, not just for these 3 weeks, you're paying for a guy that's going to be productive throughout. So I'm just thinking about the depth now. when Addison is back, and what's going on with Jalen.
Yeah, PA asked this last night, and I said to him, I mean, it definitely is a week-to-week injury. He injured his left hand, jammed it on the Thursday of joint practices, and then had it checked out by...
Was it like Anthony Richardson style, where it was pointing in the wrong direction?
All I know is he didn't finish that Thursday practice, and then walking into the locker room on Thursday a couple weeks ago, he did not look very happy. And so... Kevin O'Connell has insinuated it is not a long-term thing. PA asked me last night, will he be available week 1? I'm not in a position right now to lean one way or another. I do think it's not just like he jammed his hand like you jam your pinky playing pickup basketball and you shake it out. Like, it is not that level of injury, but part of the reason the Vikings were as motivated to make the Adam Thielen trade as they were was because you might have the potential that you need him week 1 to be very reliable next to TJ Hawkinson, who I don't mean to shift the conversation, but if there's one player who needs to be very on early in this season, I really think TJ Hawkinson might be the guy. Just reliable at the catch point, getting open, separating, being reliable enough as a run blocker. Like, I really do believe that they need TJ Hawkinson at his absolute best out of the gates here.
Well, Thielen played 7 or missed 7 last year?
Missed 7.
Yeah, so he missed 7, so he plays 10. I mean, he was on pace for, if you take the 615, the amount of yards in 10 games, I mean, he was definitely en route to another 1,000-yard season with the Carolina Panthers. And it's just amazing to me that 2 years ago, Adam Thielen's first season with the Carolina Panthers. All right, so the Vikings went down there and they beat the Panthers, but there was a play late in that game where Adam Thielen put a double move on Byron Murphy in the middle of the field, and he was missed by Bryce Young because Bryce was missing everything.
That would have been the touchdown plus the 2 would have been the tying. Yeah, but they were driving down to tie the game.
And Thielen just gave every bit of juice he had on that play, and he scorched Murphy. But Bryce Young missed him. So Adam had a lot of pop. It's just amazing to me that Adam had 1,014 receiving yards.
He had 100 catches.
And 4 touchdowns in a season where, with all due respect, Bryce Young was horrible. I mean, he was bad the whole year. And, like, when we got down to Carolina and I'm putting together the game-calling depth chart, I'm like, I can't remember the last time I saw a quarterback this far in the season with this many reps with a yards per attempt at like 3.9 or 4.1. So Bryce had some disaster to him, but through it, Thielen continued to thrive and continued to succeed. That's that shouldn't be lost on us when it comes to where this man is at this stage of his career.
No, I mean, like, the other names that surface kind of in this conversation, like KJ Osborne, you guys have probably talked about. KJ caught 7 passes for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Was moved to the Washington Commanders, had 0 catches.
Yeah.
So, like, the dichotomy in production between what Adam Thielen's done and KJ, it's a wide gap. And then Robert
I never
Woods,
felt that here, KJ.
Robert, I do think, like, there's a lot of people internally who like KJ, but there is a very wide gap in terms of Adam Thielen's recent production and KJ Osborne's. Robert Woods, a guy who had continuity with Kevin O'Connell from 2021, Robert Woods was just cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who need receivers, which is a pretty definitive reflection on kind of where he might be in his career. And then,
well, he was a speed merchant out of USC. He's not a speed merchant anymore. I
never saw him as a speed merchant.
Really?
He was a great run blocker and just sizable receiver. That's the route, and a smart guy. And again, like, had the Adam Thielen thing not happened, you had those 2 names. You had a Kendrick Bourne. You had probably Tim Patrick. But were the Lions ever really going to trade a receiver back to Minnesota? Maybe as a gift for the scene trade a couple of years ago, and TJ Hawkinson the year after that. But look, I think where this landed makes a ton of sense. And the Vikings offense, like, I've had to kind of rewire myself. You had the early part of training camp, so much optimism. Probably the second part of training camp, a little like questions about the depth of the roster. But if you really go down position by position, I mean, this thing is really, really talented. Can JJ be good? Can they stay healthy? We will all find out together.
Alec Lewis from The Athletic, theathletic.com, the Alec Lewis Show podcast on the final 53, which wasn't the final 53, but it was right after the roster cuts. Alec and I, we filmed it at the Vikings facility, Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center yesterday. You can learn more about that. Just go to YouTube and in the search bar, Alec Lewis Show, or via the free iHeartRadio app. And as Nordo, I think, touched upon earlier, the Friday football feast at Buffalo Wild Wings Oakdale, September 5th. So that's a week from Friday.
I mean, how excited are you guys?
It's great. But Paul Charchian no longer is part of the feast for the first time since 2009. So Alec Lewis and Eric Nordquist are going to join yours truly at all of these Buffalo Wild Wings. And Alex, how about that? Alec's inclusion will be provided by Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com.
Great fingerprint-resistant dishwasher.
Brian and Sarah and everybody tied to Steve's Appliances. Two of the better people I've met in the last X amount of years. They own the company. They really, really work with you if you need appliances. Go to stevesappliances.com. Fast delivery. Free recycling, so they take your stuff away at no charge and guaranteed low price. These guys are awesome.
That's a great deal.
And really, really cool of them to aid us with the Friday football feast. Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. I want to segue to defense for a second.
Sure.
And I don't think it's time to go too far down the road on cornerback depth. I mean, what they have now.
I think it's far down the road to go talk about cornerback depth.
Okay, well, you're more than welcome to momentarily, but I want to ask about a specific player. Byron Murphy Jr., along with Isaiah Rodgers, he's new, and Jeff Okudah, he's new. Those are going to be your three starters.
Maybe.
Now, you laid some, and Dwight McGlothern, who is a corner, he also made the team. They have a safety/corner named Tavier Thomas, who's going to be a starting gunner, and he's going to play on all phases of special teams. He's a veteran, but he also made the team. So he can play corner in a pinch, I guess. But Jeff Okudah, I'd like to begin there because I think it was reading one of your social media posts this morning, or maybe it was one of the stories that are at The Athletic right now, where Alec has a 53 on 53, where he offered up one thought on all 53 players who made the team. Maybe it was there. I like how you laid it out with the big nickel and the fact that the Minnesota Vikings, with the defense coordinated by Brian Flores, I don't know what the percentage is, but a majority of the game they play three safeties. So think Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, Cam Bynum last year. Take out Bynum, he's a Colt. Put in Theo Jackson. So I hadn't thought of this either, because when you think nickel defense, you think two linebackers and five defensive backs. And maybe the nickel with Flores certainly is that at times, but they don't always need three corners on the field to get accomplished what they're looking to get accomplished in pass coverage because of this big nickel. I'm not trying to minimize Jeff Okudah's time here, or his playing time or his reps here. But as we described yesterday, or maybe on Alec's podcast, Jeff is not this Deion Sanders, Darrell Green, run straight down the field like Sauce Gardner and blanket a wide receiver. He's not that guy, but he's incredibly strong. And he has part of his skill set that I think you laid out nicely in that story. How do you think they're going to use him? How much do you think he'll play? And for those who missed it, what is that skill set?
Yeah, first off, they played big. For people who don't know, big nickel. What is that? It's when you play nickel defense with just 5 DBs, but with 3 safeties instead of 3 corners. And they do that because they have a ton of faith in Josh Metellus to play in the slot, and that allows them to keep the corners kind of on an island on the outside. And I think they played big nickel like 80% of the time. Last season. I expect them to lean very heavily into it again this season. Jeff Okudah's skill set is physicality at the line of scrimmage, arm length, being very aggressive, playing the short side of the field so he doesn't have to run with the speedy receivers. But I would still...
Short side of the field, think balls on left hash.
Yeah.
He's going to be on that side.
Yeah, but what I would say is, while yes... I expect Brian Flores will put Jeff Okudah in as many advantageous positions as possible. If Byron Murphy Jr. or Isaiah Rodgers suffers an injury, and what are the odds that a cornerback suffers an injury over the course of the season, to then have Jeff Okudah manning the outside spot on a snap-in, snap-out basis does not make me feel good. Makes me feel like I had 9 corn in the cob. I mean, it just doesn't make me feel very good.
Or some gator on a stick from the Alabama State Fair in Birmingham.
And then thinking about Dwight McGlothern, I mean, he's a great personality. He had a fine camp. But to think about him going up, standing out there across from Jamar Chase or T. Higgins makes me feel like I had 3 packages of Tom Thump's donuts. So what I would tell you is the cornerback depth remains something that I have my eyes on right now, this instant. As I walk to go get fried olives, I will be looking at my phone to see if the Vikings do something with a depth cornerback spot. And Brian Flores will mitigate it as much as possible. They've really made the wager this year that pass rush will paper over cornerback depth. Like that's the bet that they're making. And when you have Jonathan Grenard, who looks like a man on a mission, and you have Jonathan Allen, and you have Javon Hargrave, and you have Andrew Van Ginkel, and you have Dallas Turner, I understand that bet, but it's not as if cornerbacks don't matter at all, and they know that internally.
Right? Doesn't it feel like in PA we were talking at the open of the show about just maybe this isn't a finished product, this final 53 that we've seen, and we've seen the general manager acquiring some picks. Doesn't it feel like these guys gave, whether it's the wide receiving situation, the Silas Boldens of the world, they're begging Lucky Jackson to find his way onto this team. They're begging a Jason Jones, to just take the opportunity. Similar with the corners, right? I mean, Mekhi Blackman back. Take this opportunity, Mekhi.
Absolutely.
Show us. Zemiah Vaughn, the undrafted cat, the Ute. Take this opportunity. I'm curious where their heads are on the interior. Again, tough to answer, but it's like there was so many spots. There were so many opportunities, and they're left here with Tavier, a little bit of versatility, perhaps.
I hope that he's not playing cornerback for the Minnesota Vikings this year. That would not be ideal.
And that's I believe where they're at too. Just the unfinished product of this and how many chances these cats had and none of them could take advantage of it.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, the receiver situation, like Lucky Jackson, I was thinking Thayer Thomas, Lucky Jackson.
Oh, I had Lucky returning kicks and punts and the whole thing. He's wide receiver 3 after the first preseason game and he disappeared.
Lucky Jackson was the leader in the clubhouse. In the second preseason game against the Patriots, he had multiple drops, and you felt for a guy like that who has gone from the CFL Edmonton Elks to the UFL Washington Defenders. He gets here, he has his opportunity, then he has a couple drops, and then cornerback, you're right. I mean, it was Mekhi Blackman, Zemiah Vaughn, Dwight McGlothern, somebody take it. And throughout the course of training camp of the preseason, none of those 3 elevated to a point that, these coaches on both sides, Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores, they are, their systems are complicated. They ask a lot. They require a lot of trust. And if you can't garner their trust on either side in a way that makes them convicted when they are calling plays, then they're probably going to seek additional, supplemental help. And that's kind of where they've been at with both of those spots.
Chaz, is it Chambliss or Chambliss? Chambliss.
I say Chaz Chambliss.
See, I went Chambliss. He chastised me this morning about it.
We did this last night.
So I'll go Chambliss. He's going to go Chambliss, and ultimately, I'm sure
Chambliss
that he will be correct. Special teams demon. PA and I talking a bit about it yesterday. Kind of the idea of if a Gabriel Murphy, for instance, if he's not going to get, you just look at how this depth chart rounds out. He's not going to get requisite time, actually reps and on-task opportunities defensively. So I need special teams demons. I need guys that are going to affect the situation positively in other ways. Does this kind of feel like one of those situations? He wasn't on my radar at all.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those. And this one surprised me. Like when I heard that, I think Tom Pelissero reported that Gabriel Murphy was being waived, the Vikings might look for a trade with him. The first name that came to my mind was Chaz Chambliss because he's an undrafted guy from Georgia. When he was first signed as an undrafted free agent, I remember talking to some people, it's like there's a little football intelligence, Van Ginkel-ish versatility to this guy. to make, it's so beyond lofty to even compare Chaz Chambliss.
It's the third time you've done it.
Well, I just think there. Again,
and how is Vince Dooley?
Well, there have been multiple people, going back to when they first signed him, it was something that was said to me. So, how is Vince Dooley? Is Vince Dooley?
I have no idea.
He might have passed away.
Okay, great. God rest his soul. Anyway.
I don't know. Derek Dooley, I covered at Missouri. He was the OC. Terrible, atrocious coordinator. But, Chaz Chambliss, special teams. Like, I still have questions on special teams, too. The punting, in my opinion, this is just me speaking, the punting has been so inconsistent over the last 3 years. The returning has not been good at all over the last couple years. They averaged the lowest yards per punt return last year, 6.9 yards per return by Brandon Powell. So, like, the return spot, the punter spot,
Okuda.
It doesn't make me feel great, but like I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine who listens to the show. His name's Gunnar last night.
How is the marketing director?
And we were talking about the depth, and it's like, how many teams feel great about their cornerback 4? That's probably why they're cornerback 4. How many teams feel great about their running back 3? That's probably why they're running back 3. So I think there's definitely a part of that, and that's why, again, as I take a step back and you go through this roster position by position, you feel really, really good about the frontline talent. That's for sure.
Now, you at The Athletic, there is an extensive story that Alec posted last week. On Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. It's who is Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, general manager for the Vikes. You spent a year on that. What took so long?
That's a question that is probably best over a blueberry beer out near the Blue Barn.
All right. Well, part of it was learn about Kwesi with this and with this. Then the third bullet was why he absolutely didn't want to do this or something like that.
The story. He did not want Kwesi Adofo-Mensah did not want a story about him, like at all. I came to him last August and I said, I know a little bit about your background, but I want to know more. And he's like, well, I don't want the story to be about me. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to write about you. You're the GM of the football team. So we had, that's the inside baseball journalism aspect of it. And I said to him, like, you know this about me. I am fascinated by how people in these roles make decisions. I'm fascinated by how they've gotten to their roles, like Tim Connolly. Like, if I could sit down with Tim Connolly and ask him about how he got to be where he is, that is so much of my interest, is the people who make these decisions, what drives them to get here and what drives them to make the decisions they make. And so with Kwesi, a guy who, made an A+ on his thesis in economics from Princeton, like, how the heck did he end up here and what has he learned from his first few years? Like, that's what I set out to kind of uncover the answer to. And we sat down 4 times, multiple hours, a lot of conversations, and it was a blast. So, that was the story last week at The Athletic.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic.
How am I supposed to focus and you guys are doing that?
Because it's radio and nobody can see it except for you and 60 people here.
The people
called it out.
But like the people sitting in the bleachers, they're like, I mean, I'm talking. You guys are bending over. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, that requires explanation in its own right, given it's radio. You guys are bending over.
This is what? Theater of the mind.
All right,
here.
we're going to pause. We'll be right back. Now our final segment, this beautiful Wednesday at the Great Minnesota Get-Together, Carousel Park specifically. We're followed by Dan Cole, the common man in the program. And after that, bumper to bumper with Barrero. 6:30 tonight at the State Fair. The Power Trip Morning Show will be here.
Is that tonight?
That's tonight. If you plan to attend and you want to get within shouting distance of the boys, I would suggest getting here early because they not only pack the Mesh, Besher, and Spence fan stands, but they align the bridge. I mean, they're just all around. So the anchor for all of us in the Core 4 here at FM 100.3 KFAN, the Power Trip Morning Show, they'll be here at 6:30. And to commemorate that, Andrew, Eric, and Jason sitting here in front of us. We rolled up starting 9 to noon. These three from New Brighton are going to be here all day for all the shows. And they've made a sign. Paul Allen,
Two in the back.
Duckies and Bunnies. Get Rosie going for the program. Big Ticket and Cake Eater for Bumper to Bumper. And why they really are here is about 6 hours and 45 minutes from now.
Oh, that's soon.
The Power Trip Morning Show will be here. So for those back there taking in all the fan shows, all of you who listen to KFAN, but specifically these three, how about a round of applause? That's what we call commitment to the bit.
Real quick.
Yeah.
No traffic to get out here for me.
None.
The weather's phenomenal.
When'd you leave?
I left at
Minneapolis?
10:05.
Oh, jeez.
This has been
That's an aberration.
The state fair is incredible. And I'm not even just trying to curry favor. I actually love it. I was here I might come back this weekend.
Okay, well, how does it compare to the Alabama State Fair? And by the way, what is Birmingham Racecourse, where it's held?
There's Birmingham. There is like a dog track down there.
There is?
But there's also like a Barber Motorsports. I don't think people here care that much about it. But,
okay.
Yeah, no,
Have you been?
I never did the Alabama State Fair. It wasn't.
You
like
never went?
No, it wasn't a thing.
So you wouldn't know what the Banana Derby is?
No.
No, they got the Banana Derby at the Alex from Anniston, Alabama.
Sure.
But he would go to this. I thought he went to the state. Maybe did you go to the Alabama National State Fair?
I never went to the state fair in Alabama. I was too busy.
So like tractor pulls, demo derbies,
what is the
dances?
banana? No, I did. I covered. We talked about this. I covered a demolition
beauty
derby when I was an intern for the Columbia Daily Tribune. I covered the demolition derby.
The Banana Derby at the Alabama State Fair in Birmingham. Monkeys riding on the backs of dogs. And it's a race.
Sounds high level.
They also like two of the signature foods are pickle pizza and gator on a stick. Have you ever had gator on a stick?
Had it last year at the fair. I liked it.
Here?
It's terrific.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right over there next to the frozen grape stand.
Okay.
I love the fair.
Fried shrimp on a stick.
No, never had that.
That sounds really good.
Pork chop on a stick here is great.
And
the pork chop on a
shrimp.
The pork chop on a stick at one of these places over near here, just well seared.
It's one of the staples.
It's
whether
great.
it's fries, it's the Pronto Pups, the whole thing. Now the Banana Derby. Is this something potentially at Canterbury 2026?
Oh, geez.
I mean, think about that.
Well, I mean...
Did they get the little Shriners caps on the monkeys, too? Can I bring Ava and Stella to take a picture?
And they put 150 of them in a Volkswagen, and they all pop out and jump on the dogs, race, we bet on it, and call it.
Here they come.
And the key is, can I get 8-1 on one of them, please?
You know, because there are activities at Canterbury Park that take place between every single race.
Of course.
Whether it's trivia, whether it's things bouncing on the track or dog races or whatever. So you might have just given somebody a really good idea. The Banana Derby, monkeys riding dogs. Who knew?
I never did the Alabama State Fair, but I'm glad this was my first introduction to a state fair.
It just seems like an insurance issue. I mean, like one of the monkeys gets loose, doesn't want to participate, but
starts
wants to go
biting
say
some
hi to
kid.
the fans.
Are monkeys nice?
Man, I don't.
They can be. They're really nice
you-
when they're chained to dogs and they're running.
Yes.
And then they have no say over biting hand of man. By the way, at The Athletic, and it's like $3-4 a month if you want to subscribe. It's wonderful, wonderful journalism. The football part of it's my favorite. They do unbelievable work nationwide from a football standpoint. TheAthletic.com, or get the app if you're interested. But most recently, Alec wrote a story that's basically 53 on 53. It's a thought or a sentence on each of the players that are on the Minnesota Vikings. There might be an update with Adam Thielen now in the mix with the Vikings too. But correct me if I'm wrong here, that I think you tired of the concept early in the equation. when I'm reading it this morning, and you write about Justin Jefferson, quote, "He tends to be at his best when his best is required," end quote. That's a Kevin O'Connell quote he's used 8 million times.
Is that copy paste?
That's why
I mean, you're so early in the story, you're already bored with the concept. You're cutting and pasting Kevin O'Connell things.
Did you get to the bottom?
Of course.
Did you get to Will Reichard?
Yes. I was wondering who the player was, but you want to share?
No.
So it was at a Vikings practice. So somebody got into him. He hit a big kick.
The best moment in training camp this year. Yeah. The best.
It was when it was over.
Not even close. Will Reichard is set up to kick. It was like maybe a 48-yarder.
Yeah.
And there is a player who I will leave nameless so that I don't get screamed at from the PR staff.
How is Miles Price?
And this player was talking trash to Will Reichard audibly.
Wow.
And Will Reichard buries this 48-yarder.
Yeah.
And he turns to the sideline, looks at this player, and gestures in a way that I will not do here.
Okay.
And it was the best moment in camp by far.
Yeah,
just the ultimate. It was just.
Don't search Lamar Jackson on social media.
And that's probably how Oscar Chapman lost his spot.
I have verified it. I thought I saw it in the moment.
Well,
I have verified it, and it Will Reichard has some real kind of
nasty
bite to him.
Where did he go to school again?
Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a standard there.
As Nordo likes to say, it's a tough league out there. Wear a helmet.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, actually, they do. But I don't care who the player was. I'm actually happy they're doing that. Getting into the kid's head, getting him to think about ancillary things before a kick, and then he responds like, take that, because after he came back from that injury last year, it wasn't the same. He was good. He was okay, but, it was just different. And then he started going lights out in the training camp practices and fending challenges, and now it's all good with the Alabama kid.
Well, even as you mentioned it early in camp, it wasn't the same.
Yeah, some of it wasn't.
It felt like the night practice. I don't think he's missed a kick since the night practice. Has he, Alec?
Hold on. Oh, sorry. No, he hasn't missed a kick in a lot. He missed the kicks in the preseason game with Oscar Chapman holding. What do you got?
Yeah, it was from 63.
Yeah, it was from 63.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. Common Man is... Okay.
Common, what's going on?
Yeah, he wants 6 running backs on the team. He thinks they kept Xavier Scott and Ty Chandler to go 4 running backs wide, and no.
There are teams, because I was looking through the final 53 for most of the teams. I forgot to do 3 of them, but there are at least 2 teams that kept 4 quarterbacks. They have 4 quarterbacks on their final 53, and there's only one team, Cincinnati or New Orleans, one of the two, that kept a rookie college free agent on the active roster. So, like with your podcast, the Alec Lewis podcast, if you want to listen to it, like I was saying to you yesterday, and this was top of the head, it's just to make an active roster as a college free agent, that happens all the time all over the place. To make a final roster as a college free agent quarterback, that is a minuscule percentage.
Yeah.
It just shows you what Max truly accomplished and how much they believe in him, right?
Yeah, Max Brosmer, I've said this plenty of times, I've written it, but at the beginning it's this fun story. Golden Gophers quarterback is now with the Vikings. But, this guy mentally is very capable, both in the quarterback room, understanding the offense, but also on the field in terms of processing the field. And I've said this to you guys. This is one of the things that I harp on since I've covered the league and really since I've covered baseball. The processing ability, meaning a player's ability to make decisions in split seconds, never gets enough credit. And so with Max Brosmer, he's special in that regard.
Enjoy the fair, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep.
Alec Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paul Allen. That's Eric Nordquist. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to Noon and FM 100.3 KFAN whenever you do. It's not lost on us, and we greatly appreciate you. May God bless all of you and your families. Enjoy the rest of the fair, and stand by for the program. Dan Cole, the Common Man, is next.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You could stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you could spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. That's eating good in the neighborhood.
Hey, it's me, your heart. Mind if I pick the next song? Listen, even though we're eating better, people who've had one heart attack are at higher risk of another. But Repatha Evolocumab plus a statin lowers LDL-C, our bad cholesterol, and our heart attack risk. So let's talk to our doctor about Repatha.
Do not take Repatha if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site. View the important safety information in our banner. Listen to your heart. Ask your doctor about Repatha.